Hello YouTube, welcome to this edition of Race Car Fabrication and Restoration. I'm Ronnie Humphrey, and as always, thanks for joining me today. We're going to continue on this special project we're doing for my wife's 52 Chevrolet. We're building this display dummy motor for the back of the truck. It's going to be a real cool thing. This is part 2, so let's get started. All right, as you can see, we got the motor on the motor stand here. And I'm going to use this set of heads right here. This is a set of Super Spec heads. Super is a series that ran down here in the South, Super late model series. Now these are spread port heads, as you can tell. Obviously we have regular flange headers, so got several things we're going to do. First thing is get the heads on the block, and we're going to see if we can just bolt those down just temporarily. I'm using 7/16 bolts out of my bolt bin, and we're gonna have to see if we can pop these springs off of this side. So we'll just use a hammer. Ain't nothing gonna be pretty about this. These bad heads, it doesn't matter. So that's where we'll start off and see if we can get these heads mounted and see if we can get these springs popped off. Okay, I got some gloves on my hand because this thing is nasty. We'll go ahead and get this first head on here. Hopefully this pins will all line up. There we go. Boom. Okay, on. I'm going to put a couple of bolts in here just to get this good. Those are the right length too. Just something to hold his head on so it doesn't fall off on my foot. Even though they're aluminum, they still will hurt. All right. Hopefully the other one will snap on. Yeah, I brought a couple other 7/16 to get this other head on. There we go. All right. See if we get this other one on there. I've already tore my gloves already. Let's see here. There it is. Boom. Well, that's good. All right, so we'll get a couple of bolts on this side. Tell you what, I need to go get an impact. Let me go get a socket for my impact so we can do this like we know what we're doing. So I'll be right back. All right, I got us a 5/8 here impact socket, or impact, I should say. Get them at least tightened down a little bit. All right. Now we'll go get in there and get a hammer, or we can just pry these down. A couple different ways to do it, but go in there and get our stuff we need to be able to pop these springs off. We don't need any weight in here whatsoever. Also get us a socket to fit so we get this these studs off, rocker arm studs for the guide plate studs. So we go get a socket for that and be right back with you. All right, before we remove our studs, we need to go and get these valve springs off. There's an old trick you can do. You can just hit one of these with a hammer, and usually it'll oh, I can keep my socket. You can hit it with a hammer and it'll knock the spring down enough to where it will release the valve springs like that. That way you can get the keepers off. Boom, there you go. So you hit it with a hammer, and they come right off. I don't know if you can see how the keepers are popping off. Oh goodness. Keep losing my socket. I got keepers everywhere. Okay, I'll tell you what I'll show you this time. So when you see how the keepers come off, there's your valve spring. Some big old springs. Had helper spring in the center. That one. That one. I'm making a mess on the floor. All right, here we go. And there's the last. Uh-oh, that one had a broke spring. Look at there. How about that? So this motor was having some issues. All right, we'll take, go ahead and just break these loose now. I don't know if my little 1/4 inch impact is going to break these loose or not. Hopefully it will. I'll have to give these guide plates to my brother. He can sell those when he goes to swap meet. There we go. Yeah. Man, his head's already getting lighter. There's our guide plates and our studs. We'll knock these valves out, and so forth whenever we get the head back off. I'll get the guides won't matter. So there we go. We're already pushing the heads. Matter of fact, those should actually go, since there's no pistons in the motor, they should go. No, let's see, they may be hitting there. I don't even think small enough to punch them on down. Boy, I hate this. It's high dollar heads and we're using a hammer on them. Okay. All right, well, let me get some of this stuff cleaned up here, and we'll pick back up here in just a second. All right, I've got my one fits all. Oh man, that was easy. Get these studs out of here for the exhaust ports, or on the exhaust ports. There's some big old heads, man. These super motors, they made, you know, probably 700, 800 horsepower, probably 27, 800 back in the day. There we go. Just for the fun of it, I'm gonna grab my headers up here. Tell you what, I gotta unbolt them first. Let me unbolt them and just set them up here just for fun of it, see how we're gonna do this. All right, got these headers undone. I had them bolted together. Just kind of playing. What we're going to do, we're just actually going to tap. You know, these standard ports have two holes, you know, just side by side. So we'll just drill. What we'll do, we'll take a header gasket and just mark the holes. We'll probably just put two on the outside, and that'll probably be good. Actually, probably just put one on the outside edge, probably be good enough. I'm going to work a little bit on this flange right here to get where I can get a bolt in there. I'm going to just ding that in, just a little, warm it up just a little bit with a torch and ding that in. That's what we had to do all the time years ago, you know. But I'll ding that in, and so we'll just line these up with a header gasket, figure out where we want to put our holes, then we'll drill it and tap it, and then we'll build a, I want to put the headers, I want to get everything on here like it's supposed to be before we get it cleaned up, obviously. So, all right, so let's get our head gasket, and that's where we'll start at here next.